welcome back to the Home Reset Challenge. I'm Melanie Caffey with the Organized Drawer. We are currently on day 12. We are working through kids' clothes, continuing. This will be our last day. So I wanted to give you a few more tips and kind of show you how things are working in my space, tips for you as you continue decluttering, and hopefully that will help you tackle some of the mess. But remember, you only have 30 minutes because we're just wanting to clear out as much as we can in 30 minutes and we don't want to get overwhelmed, okay? So I've already talked about my growth bins. I told you I didn't have one for my daughter's room, and so I couldn't really show you exactly how it was working well. But here in my boys' room, I had been working in here, and so I wanted to show you that. So this is my 2-year-old. He's growing out of the 18 to 24 months, and because I already have this bin labeled and ready to go, as soon as I put something on and it's not fitting anymore, or as soon as I've washed it and I've realized, yeah, this one didn't fit right, then I can immediately put it in here rather than putting it back in the drawer, or rather than setting it on top of something and trying to remember later, okay, did that item fit? What was I wanting to do with that? This is what I already know I'm going to keep, right? If I'm getting rid of it, I don't need to bring it back into this space. I need to immediately put it in like a donation bag, a donation box, put it in the car to donate, something like that where it's already just getting out of the house rather than making its way back in here and cluttering up the space. Same thing for my 4-year-old. Some of his 4T items still fit, some of them don't. So as he grows out of them, and as I'm noticing, okay, yeah, this one doesn't work anymore, then we're moving it here. He's just in between sizes. I don't have as many clothes that fit him in his new size, so we're still kind of hanging on to that 4T, and so that's why this one's almost full, but it's almost done. So once this is finished, I put the lid on and I immediately move it to the attic. And because it's already labeled like all of my other ones, I can just put it in where it goes. And I know once my 2-year-old is no longer 2 and he's going into 4, then I can grab this bin and we already have clothes cleaned, ready to go, okay? This works well for me because I do have boys. I have 3 boys, and the oldest one, we're using most of his clothes. But it's important that I'm still picky about it because I can't save everything. And I like getting new clothes for each kid that represents them, that, you know, as their personalities show up, I can buy things that are particular to each kid. So I know myself, I know that I'm still planning on buying new things. That's something fun to me. It's kind of, you know, I get to love on them in that way. And so I know that I'm going to buy more clothes. But if I don't save everything, I know I have room to do that, okay? Without overflowing my spaces. Items that I'm getting rid of are items that are worn out. So I just moved my son, his clothes, into this bigger dresser. I moved some things around to make that happen for him. And I asked him, I said, this is my 4-year-old, would you rather have your clothes by the bed, or would you rather have your clothes in the dresser in the closet? And it was so fun and adorable because he was like, I'd rather have it in the closet. I was like, why? And he was like, because that's where I change my clothes. That's where my hamper is. And I can already just put my clothes in the hamper if I'm already changing in there. And I thought that was so intelligent for him to think through his own system, right? Which is what I'm going for my kids. I want them to be able to do this for themselves and think through systems. He created his own system, thinking already just about his dirty clothes being in there, and how for some reason, the longer he has to walk to something, to his dirty hamper, the less likely he is to put it in the hamper. And so he thought of that himself, and he chose this spot, and I was very proud of him. But now he has just a drawer for his jammies, and he has tons of jammies. He loves jammies, but one drawer for jammies is a pretty big drawer. We, at this point, need to be picky about the ones we're keeping because some of them are getting worn out, like this one, like the neck. I've noticed it kind of stretching all weird, and it's time to retire it. It's done. I'm probably not going to even keep this for my next kids, or my next boy, because it's stretched and worn out already, and I know we have so many jammies. Plus, actually, my 2-year-old doesn't even like jammies. So, you know, different kid, just different things that we keep for them. So I know that I can go ahead and part with this kind, or this jammy, and make room for the ones that my son really does love. Okay, next thing I want to show you is how I hang their clothes. I have a section for my 4-year-old, and I have a section for my 2-year-old. I put it in rainbow order, and I know when the rainbow order begins again, that's the 2-year-olds, right? Giving them their own assigned sections. Now, when you're looking at this, if you like the way, like this looks like very few clothes. I only put their like bigger sweaters, their nicer shirts over here. But I love that there's room enough that when I'm bringing in new items, I have room to do that. And I continue the process of, okay, now I'm removing some items to keep that space, to keep the right balance in this space where it's not overcrowded, it's not too full. My kids aren't knocking down clothes when they're pulling one thing out because it's too tight. Things like that is going to really, really help the system in this space. And the decluttering really helps with that. I told you that my kids' hampers are in here. I have them labeled right here. This way they know exactly where their dirty clothes. This is the connection to the dresser, to the hampers, which my son was picking and thinking about. Something else I'm going to just point out, because I have cleared out things that I don't need in this space, I'm able to have a little bit more wiggle room to put things that we do need, things that do serve us, things that are kind of different sizes, but I can make that room because I'm not overcrowding my space with things that we don't need in here. So really thinking about your home as real estate, what you really want to focus on, and getting rid of the things that don't serve that. Worn out clothes they don't fit anymore, clothes that, you know, don't even match your kid's personality, or your next kid's personality, right? Like this, another item I'm removing, this one I would donate. It's a nice shirt, but it doesn't fit my kid and his personality, and it's not going to fit the other ones either. It might fit, I don't know, I'm only learning my 5-week-old. I don't really know what his personality is going to be like and the clothes that really represent him in that, but I'm not going to hold it for, you know, that's going to be what, how long is that? It's 4 more years so he can fit these clothes. That's a long time to hold on to a shirt that I don't even know if it's going to work. It might not even be styled then. I don't know. So there's no point in me keeping this item and just passing it on and keep digging around it in the drawers rather than actually using what it's made for. So that's going to be a donate item for us. And those are just things that I'm thinking of. If you want those questions that I strongly suggest kind of walking through, that was in the first day of the kids' clothes, and that was, we're day 12, that was day 10. So if you want to look back at that, the day 10 video would be very, very helpful if you're trying to get started and figure out what questions you need to ask yourself to keep. You could also look back at your clothes, the video on that, walking through some of the questions, not feeling guilty, making room for what you want, but also allowing yourself to be free to get rid of things as soon as they grow out of them, and only keeping select items that really make you think of that kid or really mean a lot to you. Maybe there is a sentimental value. Maybe moving that to a sentimental space rather than your everyday space will be helpful, okay? All right, if you have any questions, always reach out, and I hope you continue decluttering and making room for the things that you love.